Andretti, one of America's most well-known racing families, is quickly preparing for life in Formula One. It has just revealed a new update on where things are standing and how quickly they'll be able to join the other teams on the grid with a competitive car. It's pressing full steam ahead with wind tunnel testing, parts manufacture, and recruiting for its Formula One attempt, according to technical director Nick Chester, who claims workers from Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren have all jumped ship for this project. Could we really see this project come to life in the upcoming years? We'll jump into the details to tell you what they've done to create their F1 team until now. The only catch right now? It does not currently have an F1 entry, and there is no assurance it will receive one. Despite not yet receiving Formula One clearance from the regulatory body, the FIA Andretti Cadillac is moving forward with plans to get their F1 team together, with the objective of entering the grid as early as 2025. While the FIA, F1's regulatory body, has already given the team permission to join the grid, Formula One management has yet to accept its candidature to debut in either 2025 or 2026 and has been hesitant to extend the grid. The existing 10 teams are opposed, claiming that adding an 11th team would put their prize money at danger. F1 is currently examining Andretti's request, with a decision likely soon. However, as Andretti waits for a response, it is making preparations with the expectation that it will race within the next few years. Time is always of the essence in F1, Andretti Global's CEO and chairman Michael Andretti said. We've been working as fast as we possibly can to ensure we have as competitive a car and as strong a team as possible when we do take our place on the grid. Andretti is already building the groundwork for its Formula One program. A new satellite facility for the American team in the UK, based at Silverstone, is now operational, operating in conjunction with the current headquarters in Indianapolis. Andretti intends to establish a new headquarters in Fishers, Indiana, next year, which will serve as the worldwide hub for its many racing activities. It has brought in some well-known Formula One technical leaders. Nick Chester arrived as its F1 technical director this spring, having previously spent almost 20 years at Enston under different names and playing a key part in Renault's back-to-back titles in 2005 and 2006. He is assisted by head of aerodynamics John Tomlinson, previously of Williams and Renault, and chief designer John McWilliam, who has over 4 decades of expertise in Formula One. It's a team that wants to do it properly and win, Chester said. You don't want to be anywhere that doesn't have that ethos. As I started talking before I joined, the resource behind it, the effort that was going to go behind it to make it win, just made it very, very attractive. The support extends far beyond a few well-known figures at the top. Andretti's F1 business presently employs more than 120 people, the majority of whom are technical team members. It brings the technical group close to the scale of those at smaller current F1 teams. Chester valued the opportunity to start a technical group from scratch, instilling the correct principles and culture from the start. I was pleasantly surprised, in a way, how easy it was to draw people to the project, he said. There's a real draw of a new team, the Andretti name. A blank sheet tends to have a very proactive culture. We've had people joining from Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren. They all wanted a new challenge. It's that real potential to shape departments, which is very attractive. With no time to spare, the crew began developing a car for current technical specifications using CFD. That resulted in a 2023 model at 60% scale that was tested in Toyota's wind tunnel in Cologne, Germany. In mid-2024, the team intends to create a full-size Andretti F1 chassis as a prototype model for early homologation testing, as well as the suspension and other on-car equipment. Michael Andretti believed it was critical to achieve progress in all of these areas to assure the team's competitiveness upon entering the grid, which has traditionally proven difficult for new teams and is one of the worries highlighted by some of Andretti's opponents. It takes time to build competitive race cars, Andretti stated. I'm very happy that we have made so much progress already on long lead activities such as aerodynamic design and simulation. We don't underestimate the task. When Andretti revealed its plan to start a new F1 team in early 2022, one of the complaints made against them was a lack of a manufacturing partner. At a time when major brands like Audi and Ford were committed to the future of Formula One, contributing to the increasing pool of manufacturers was critical for any new entry. It spurred Andretti to collaborate with General Motors' Cadillac brand through a technological cooperation. There were still questions in the paddock about how far this would go, and whether Cadillac's involvement was more of a stickering exercise, similar to Alfa Romeo's sponsorship of Sauber in previous years. Then GM doubled down on its technical assistance by agreeing to producing an engine. FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem was keen to obtain its registration as a future power unit supplier, which was approved in November. By 2028, GM intends to have an extensive F1 engine program, including works assistance for the Andretti Cadillac team. If Andretti joins the grid in 2025 or 2026, an initial customer power unit arrangement will serve as a stopgap, but Andretti is already largely reliant on GM's technological help. The Andretti F1 program is being worked on by around 50 GM engineers out of a total crew of 120. GM funded the wind tunnel model's CFD development and is now manufacturing parts and working on projects like roll hoop design and hydraulic systems at its Charlotte, North Carolina facility. "We wouldn't have got half of what we've got done now without GM's involvement," Chester was quoted as saying. "It's not an arrangement where you throw things backwards and forwards, it's much more like one team. It's getting really nicely integrated." Chester said GM's engineers were contributing real heavyweight technical expertise to the Andretti F1 squad, drawing on experience from the company's other racing activities, including NASCAR and sports car programs. Andretti also hopes that moving into F1 would increase American interest in STEM disciplines and racing jobs, therefore contributing to the sport's recent success in the United States. Michael Andretti stated that the GM partnership had provided immediate benefits to the project. "It is really great to see race car components that have been designed in-house by Andretti Cadillac already being manufactured in the USA by GM," he said. "For a project that has always sought to emphasize its American roots and character, having a car made in the United States and funded by a major American manufacturer is a significant step. But what happens if F1 says no? As after all, they still need to be accepted by the FOM. While Andretti's F1 team continues to gain momentum, it must still obtain final clearance from the FOM. It sent almost 400 pages of documentation to the FIA for assessment and inspection of the project, which Chester characterized as rigorous since they asked a lot of questions about how we were going to be fit and able to develop a proper car. It's a legitimate issue, given how uncompetitive past new teams have been. The three newcomers in 2010 spent years several seconds off the pace and all failed financially within 7 seasons. But the FIA was very happy. F1's landscape has also evolved drastically since then, with the cost cap narrowing the gap between the haves and have-nots and the commercial structure securing prize money for all contending teams. The next phase in the process is F1's evaluation of the commercial benefits and elements of Andretti's candidature, which is being highly guarded while it is underway. While Ben Sulayem believes F1 cannot turn down an Andretti GM deal, F1's CEO Stefano Domenicali has previously expressed reservations about increasing the grid, stating that 10 teams are more than enough for the sport. The resistance of the 10 teams is unlikely to change, whether they claim financial insecurity or have misgivings or skepticism about Andretti's competitive abilities. While the team's opinions will be taken into consideration, the final decision will be made by F1. In any case, Andretti's decision will have far-reaching consequences, especially as the next round of negotiations over F1's Concord Agreement, the contractual arrangements between the 10 teams, F1 itself, and the FIA, approaches. Many people want to see the $200 million dilution cost, which Andretti will have to pay if approved, quadrupled for the next Concord Agreement, which begins in 2026. Andretti is not going to allow the wait for F1's decision hold them back. The team thinks that the best approach to demonstrate its potential as a powerful addition to the F1 grid is to begin preparations at full speed. Chester believes this approach has created a buzz throughout the team. If everybody knows you're just pushing on, then everybody's focusing on their own areas, trying to generate as much performance as they can, Chester said. That generates a great atmosphere, so that's the way we've gone about it. However, there is still a large what-if over a refusal as long as F1 continues to examine. However, the team is so certain in the benefits of its arrival into the sport that it is totally focused on developing the vehicle and crew, rather on that scenario. As Mohammed Ben Sulayem has said a number of times, the benefits we will bring to the sport and the championship are so obvious, Andretti said in a statement. I can't imagine anyone would want to try to stop us and deprive racing fans of the opportunity to see a genuine American works team going head-to-head with the legendary names currently competing in F1. What are your thoughts? Would you like to see Andretti in combination with Cadillac and General Motors join in 2025 or 2026? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.